Wednesday, February the 3rd. Lake level is just under 915, which is about 2 feet below normal. I did get to go out a couple days this past week, and I found the water temperatures to be about 45, 46 degrees when I get out there in the morning. And then late in the day, with the sun up, I found some 48, 49, even 50 degree water in the back of some of the pockets. Now I fished primarily from about Joe Bald area, which is 0.9 up to the dam, and the water's got quite a little bit of stain to it, probably about 3 foot of visibility in most places. And you get up towards Indian Point, right about from 0.5 up to the dam, seems to be the clearest water. And I actually did a little bit better in the stained water than I did the real clear water. And I didn't find the fish, I didn't get that many bites. I had 5-6 bites each day, but we didn't have a fish under 4 pounds. So we had some really good quality. It was just the bites were few and far between. It took us a little bit to figure them out. They weren't, what I would say in areas that I would normally catch them in Table Rock. I actually kind of fished it like we would Lake of the Ozarks, because it's a lot, the watercolor's a lot like Lake of the Ozarks right now. What I caught a few on a jerkbait, a few on a crankbait, and I think just 1 or 2 on an A-rig. But the jerkbait was by far probably my best bait. And this is a mega bass. I don't know the exact name of it or the color, but it's got a chartreuse back, a little black and orange on the belly. And I was using this color because of the stain of the water. It's a bait that's worked real good for me up at Lake of the Ozarks before. And I'm throwing it on 10-pound line on a 6'9" medium action luge rod, real soft drag. And the fish, they were pretty subtle, but like I said, most of the fish were in shallow pockets. Some were up on the main lake, but a lot of them more in the creeks. And it seemed like I had to let the bait set about 5 to 8 seconds in between twitches, but a lot of the key for me was getting it on the corner of a shallow dock where it was on the shaded side, but right where the shade and the sun met on the corner of the dock seemed to be the key, whether it was the back side of the dock or the front side of it. Now, I fished several cedar trees. We caught one out of a cedar. But I think as the water goes down, like I said, they've slowed the generation down quite a bit, but it gets down another foot or 2 and you're going to be able to fish a lot more of the cedar tops. When it's up high, like around 917, a lot of the good cedar trees that we normally fish a jerkbait around have got too much water over the top of them. So with that lake getting down, I think some of them cedar tree points, main lake bluff ends will produce a little bit better. Now that water temperature, it's probably not going to cool down a whole lot. It's not going to get, maybe 43, 44. It's still getting pretty nice out during the day. Now I'm sure the water is a little bit colder up in the river arms. But the crankbaits I was throwing was a wiggle wart and a rock crawler. Now usually in the springtime, I like something with a lot of red and also with the color of the water. I mean, these are some colors that I would, kind of like the jerkbait that I would throw up at Lake of the Ozarks. It's got a green back on it, red sides, and my wiggle wart, pretty much the same thing. It's got a little orange on the belly, red on the sides, green on the back. And some of the wiggle wart fish were right up on the bank. I mean, I'd literally cast on the bank and make about 2 cranks. Now, the thing with the wiggle wart is I had to fish it, really slow. If I didn't get bit right on the bank, some of the fish were about 6 to 8 foot deep. And they were on rock transitions where it went from pea gravel to chunk rock back in the creeks. Now, the wind really seemed to be a big deal for me. I seemed like I had to have a little breeze. It didn't have to be crashing in there, but I just needed a little bit of ripple up on the bank. And I did notice, too, a lot of the areas, whether it be on the jerkbait or the crankbait, every once in a while I would see some bait flickering around. So, seemed to be a big key also to be in the area where the bait was. Now, all the launch ramps are open. I think some of the ones up in the Kings River and up in the Upper White have got a lot of debris on them. But as far as everything else down lake, there's no problem launching anywhere. And I mentioned, you know, I caught, I think I caught one each day on an Alabama rig. For some reason the jerkbait seemed to work a lot better for me, but the areas that I started getting bit were really shallow areas where I could fish the jerkbait a lot more effectively than the A-rig. They had a tournament Saturday, and there was 3 stringers over 20 pounds. So the big fish are starting to show up. We haven't seen too many 20-pound stringers all winter. So it looks like a lot of them bigger fish are starting to move around a little bit. And I think, like I mentioned last week, if you get a couple days of sunshine like what we had this past week, a lot of them big old females will start coming up and cruising around. It's a good time to catch, you know, really big stringer or even a big fish. Like I said, I didn't have any short fish in 2 days of fishing. Everything was, you know, really good quality fish. You know, it looks like the weather's still going to be pretty decent, a little colder, but, you know, the bite should just get better from now till the spring. So till next week, you get a chance to get out, good luck, good fishing.